It's been nearly 16 weeks since this lockdown began, and Sydney-siders have not been slow to take advantage of what's become known here as Freedom Day. Some bars and hairdressers opened for business at midnight when the lockdown officially ended, and by this morning there were crowds lining up at department stores and cafes all over Sydney, anxious to take advantage of their first taste of freedom since June. However, although today's a big day for Sydney-siders, not everyone is celebrating here. Those who are not fully vaccinated will have to wait until December before government restrictions are completely lifted and they'll be allowed into all retail premises, as well as pubs and restaurants and theatres, cinemas and outdoor events. The unvaccinated who attempt to break the rules face hefty fines, as well as the owners of the premises who let them in. Now, the big question here is, will the new freedoms spark an upsurge in the number of daily COVID cases? Well, the government has already warned that it expects numbers to rise, but hopes that because so many people are fully vaccinated, there will be fewer hospitalizations and therefore and fewer deaths.
Roger, what about elsewhere? Because it's a very different picture, isn't it, in different parts of the country?
Yeah, it is. Elsewhere in Australia, Victoria remains in lockdown. There are about 2,000 new cases a day in Melbourne and its surrounds, but the city still hopes to open up again towards the end of October. But in other parts of Australia, the nation is virtually COVID-free, with Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania and Western Australia enjoying life as fairly normal, thanks to shutting their borders to travellers from New South Wales and Victoria, and pursuing a policy of virus elimination, which so far has proved remarkably successful.
Yeah, it's quite a mixed picture in a way, isn't it, Roger? Because that's the situation in some states. But originally, of course, the whole country tried to do that, and many would say that failed.
It did fail, and it's going to fail in a big way, I suspect, in the weeks and months to come. The problem is that trying to eliminate the virus has turned both Queensland and Western Australia into a virtual hermit kingdom. Anxious to keep COVID at bay, the governments in both states have cut themselves off from the outside world, and with the reopening of international borders getting closer by the day, the people in Western Australia and in Queensland will be stuck at home, while Sydney-siders will be able to fly overseas. The irony is that you'll be able to fly from Sydney to Europe or America, but not to Perth in Western Australia or Brisbane in Queensland. Originally, the international border wasn't going to be open until December, but now the authorities are talking about a possible return to international travel by early November, if all goes well.